Okay. Uh, whose screen am I seeing? Or is it my screen?
Ma'am, it is yours.
Ma'am, it is
It's
yours.
yours only, ma'am.
Okay. Why is it showing like this? Anyway, so right now, can you see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So before we move on to the some of the specifics of psychology and business, how many of you are wondering how are psychology and business even related? What do you think? What could be a possible connection? So by psychology, I mean human psychology or social psychology.
Ma'am, by understanding psychology of people, we can grow our business. Like we can have impact on whatever we are trying to sell
Okay.
only by understanding what others want and what they think about the products.
What else? How do I remove this from happening? How else do you think is psychology relevant in the business?
In deals and negotiations, would like to understand how the other person thinks, what are his expectations.
Yeah, to basically understand people and how they may decide certain things. Business is everything about people. The more you know about the people you are catering to or their needs and their desires, you are at a relatively stronger position to influence them. Now, when we talk about influence, I want you to watch a small video and then you tell me what do you get out of it? What do you understand out of it? So the YouTube is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's start. Let's watch this 1 minute video and then I'll tell you what you understand from it.
Brothers, there's an endless road to rediscovery. Brothers, know the wild's sweet. Yes, the sky comes from clouds. There's nothing else to take.
Okay, so how do you feel after watching the commercial? What is it that makes you feel when you watch it? Is my question clear? Are we connected?
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you feel after watching the commercial?
Ma'am, like the commercial was dependent on how Coca-Cola can bring a family together.
So what were the major emotions that you were feeling while you were watching the commercial?
Ma'am, Pratima,
Yeah. Go on.
ma'am, it basically describes how any brother would take one side, but still make fun of his younger brother in many cases.
Yeah, there's a feeling of obviously brotherhood and love and affection shown, and we are directly able to relate to that. So by telling a story which involves human emotions, they're trying to sell a product. And the story that they have made, obviously, we are able to connect to most of its part. So that is why, all these marketing things and advertisement things that you see around you, they are deeply, deeply dependent on the human psychology and how human things behave and take decisions. And that is why understanding how a person behaves or how a group of people behave in a particular context can be extremely important, not only in a business situation, but even as students if you're working in a team, or when you're working with a professor on your thesis, or in corporate when you're handling a team, or even at a vegetable market. If you have a elementary understanding of human psychology, I think in the long term it becomes easier to make decisions which are not too costly. So, and for particular this module, since business is about people and people, customers are directly influencing your business, and that is why, and that in turn is affected by how they feel, think, and act. And that is again influenced by the society, culture, and environment that they are living in. You see, the most complex problems in our real world are not simply technical mathematical problems. They are very complex problems which involve interdisciplinary approach and intersectoral approach. And that is why even if you are software engineers training as computer science engineers or electronics engineers, it is extremely vital to develop a holistic mindset that tries to solve a particular problem. When we are able to look at a problem from 360-degree angle, then perhaps we become better able to tackle it. And in that case, psychology is also one of the angles which are extremely important. So, very frankly, in a very basic manner, psychology examines why people act the way they do. In fact, I'm not sure even in humanities you may have read something about human psychology. Do you recall?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am taught us about how we manage the stress, how we realize the other person's point of view, how we influence the people sitting in front of us, and so many things like that.
So, yes, as you rightly pointed out, having a sense of empathy and being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes is not only important in business or professional life, but even in our interpersonal relationships. And so, this is something that will be useful for you wherever you go. So, basically, there are two reasons or motives behind people's actions or interactions. They are either trying to meet some goal or they are trying to fulfill some need. Now, can you give an example of both? In one instance, when someone is acting to meet a goal, and in other, they are trying to fulfill some need, and the difference between the two. So, what's the difference between goal and need? You can explain using examples.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Any?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
many people don't follow their passion and do regular jobs just to like earn money to support their family. So they are in
Yeah.
need right now, but some people leave their job to pursue their goal or their choice of career. So that is their goal.
Yeah. good example. So when, and even in your life when you're acting, every single decision that you take, a small or big decision, you're either trying to meet some goal or fulfill some need. Until and unless we have transcended every goal and need and we just be like Zen monks. So, and the other thing is that as you see, can you see from this Venn diagram that individual actions is not a linear decision. It is influenced, heavily influenced by individual characteristics, situation, and the context. So, a very simple example that comes to my mind is that very often we try to visit tribal and rural areas to understand the health of the community. Most of the times I've tried to visit. So, the dress code over there is completely different from the dress code in the city. And because we are trying to gel up with the community and understand its people and their ways and their health, sometimes we have to act in a manner such that it is conducive and respectful to that community. And things that we might not do or act in a city or an urban area, sometimes we have to follow that. So in the context and situation, our decisions change. So can you think of any situation in your own life wherein, because of the change in situation and context, your decision changed, which otherwise it would not have if the situation and context was something different? So, for example, let's say a student's example of trying to plagiarize some content from online. So maybe you have less time to submit the assignment and you don't want to not submit it also. So maybe some students end up, taking information from the internet and trying to submit the assignment. If they had time, they might not have done this. So this explains that situation and context. And this is very important, because, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So imagine this situation. You are working in Bangalore, and Bangalore is notorious for traffic. And you have a meeting at 11 o'clock, and you are stuck in traffic. And you reach your office at 11:15. And your manager knows you are late, and you know you are late. And you are trying to explain the situation that I got stuck in the traffic. So you are saying that you got late because of the situation. Whereas on the other hand, your manager is saying he's always late or she's always late. So he is basing that what he's seeing on the disposition. So when we try to attribute an individual's action either to his or her disposition, which is the nature and the behavior and the character and the situation, we should always remember that sometimes what we see in front of the person or about a person mostly could be a situational thing, not just a dispositional thing. And when we look at that manner, it becomes easier to understand people's actions. So always remember that even our behaviors and students' behaviors are influenced by the context. Right. Any questions? So let me take you to another example. In 2009, I think, in which class were you? First class? So in 2009, in the city of Gwalior, where I did my graduation and post-graduation, there was only one single mall. And in that mall, there was no McDonald's, no KFC. But in front of us, only McDonald's and KFC had come. And as soon as this McD was established in the mall, most of the students from our college were going there every other day. And that had created a very strong impact on the, psychology of the students, that they want to try some new type of food or, something that came in the new city of Gwalior, which is not generally like a metropolitan city. And this is how they were able to tap into the psychology of the students, youth, and children and establish their McD, and now it's flourishing. So marketing and psychology are extremely closely related. And that is why understanding the human psychology can be very useful for the success of your business or any other project that you are taking. If you understand how a person thinks and what basically they want, and this is exactly similar to the negotiation also that we had studied. Even when we are trying to negotiate some things, we cannot be full of ourselves and try to get our way. We have to sometimes arrive at a position which is mutually beneficial. And that can only happen if we are considerate enough to know that whenever we go into some game or some event, there we cannot win 100%. If we have to win bigger, then we have to be considerate over others also, because chances are they are also looking for winning. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me give you another example. As we said that individual actions is influenced by situation and context. In the current times of COVID, almost all of you may be having oximeter at your homes and thermometer. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And so the oximeter, even before, we would not have even known about something called as SpO2. I mean, those who are working in the fitness analytics obviously did know, but they did not know about oximeter per se as a device, and the market is increasing. And recently news came that an app has been designed which has completely replaced the need of a physical oximeter. You can use the sensor, heart rate sensor or something like that on your mobile to identify your oxygen levels. So because of the situation, because of the context, because of the threat of the coronavirus, everyone has started purchasing this device, and the market size of this is expected to grow a lot. And the businesses have tapped in that. So businesses always face changes with time. Individual behavior also changes with situation. As a business, you have to be always on your toes and be familiar about what is happening in and around my business, so that as and when an opportunity comes up, I can tap into it. And pulse oximeter gives a very strong example of this thing. So this is a plot which shows the US pulse oximeter's market size. And by 2028, it has been shown, and you can see that it is even though it's not a monotonically increasing trend, but you can see a fairly increasing trend, and even in home care, it's increasing. So that means that, situation, context, and individual characteristics. As a business, you must always keep a very keen eye on these things. And that is why social psychology is important. There are many branches of psychology, even criminal psychology is there. And one of the very fascinating fields which says that why people commit crimes. How can it be traced back to their childhood, and why do they become the way they become? So social psychology is also one of the fields of psychology. It basically, so the more you understand about social psychology, you begin understanding people around you, how the world functions, how people think, and how people view others, how they behave, and their attitude. And this can help you in understanding how they function as a group or as an individual. And ultimately, because you are, I request you not to look at it just as business, but as anything you are trying to accomplish in your lives, even business or college projects, group projects, or even professional works. And knowledge of psychology will be important. So we will be discussing one or two principles of psychology, most important ones. So one of the principles is reciprocity principle. Now, the reciprocity principle says that people tend to feel obligated to return favors after people do favors for them. Now, in most of your negotiation essays, you had mentioned that I was the regular customer to this shop, and I was expecting the shopkeeper to give me some discount because everything I purchased from his shop. But when he did not agree to my negotiating price, I felt very sad. Why did you feel sad? Any guesses?
Because we feel that they have to return the favor since we are buying things again and again from the same shop.
Yeah. So there is an element of expectation involved. There is an element of desire of reciprocity involved. Since you are giving him a bit of his market size, you would expect that him to lessen the price of certain items for you. So principle of reciprocity is very common in business, and businesses to expand their network, customers and users, they often use this. It's heavily used in marketing. So wherever you come across sales of coupons or special promotions or even giving small prototypes to customers, you can be sure that principle of reciprocity is in play. So what they do is that by giving you something, they are implicitly triggering you to take certain action in the future. So for example, if you're shopping for a new mobile phone and you are not sure of buying, the salesperson also adds phone cover for no additional cost. So you will feel valued as a customer, and you would try to, be more lenient towards the purchase. You would feel that he or she has favored you, and you would be obligated to return the favor by perhaps buying the item. So principle of reciprocity not only in business, I think again, always keep your minds expanded anywhere, because in your own life you would have experienced that when you do something for someone, uh, they sometimes often do something for you also, just because you made them feel good, and they feel obligated to make you feel good also, unless you are Sheldon. So, but having said about reciprocity, uh, do not leave your common sense behind. Give it some time also. So when someone makes you some offer out of free, you should not impulsively take actions at that moment. You should always take time to analyze and try to understand what really is happening and what is in it for you, and whether the deal is worth it or not. So evaluate the exchange also when it's happening. So there are certain principles of reciprocity. Try to be the first one to give without hoping to get something in return. And I know it can be difficult because as humans, we are hardwired to get. But it is, in the giving that we receive the more. And always make your customers feel valued. So when a customer is loyal to a company or to a firm, it's because it's not just the item, but it's also the respect that he or she may be getting by the overall experience of the customer in the shop. So when they feel valued, they will go back to give you the business. Even in your own lives, you might have noticed that a particular shopkeeper is your friend. He or she talks very friendly to you, and whenever you go to or buy, purchase something, they make extra efforts to make your purchase less hassle and more useful. Have you ever come across this? Have you ever felt uniquely treated by the shopkeeper for your purchase? Or even in any other scenario? No one?
Yes,
Can you share the example?
While I was buying the laptop, I was provided with extra accessories by the shopkeeper.
table with
So
Okay.
yeah,
So how did that make you feel?
yeah, it really did
being markets over
influence
on the
my
basis of
me.
free
I had some
coriander
doubts.
and chilies.
Yeah, go on.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I
And
had some doubts at first, but then yeah, that's not about the laptop, but I expected something more from him, and like while he saw me, like I wasn't really agreeing to buy the laptop, so he offered me some extra accessories, so that made me really happy. So I bought it.
Okay, okay. Nice. So did you then recommend the shop to some of your friends?
Yeah, one of my friends also visited the shop when I recommended him.
Okay, nice. So in that way, he also gained some business out of it.
Yes.
So that is very important because long-term relationships are crucial to the success of any business.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Vishal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The same thing that as Shreyas said. Uh, we get the benefit also if we usually buy this things from the same shop about anything. Usually we have about from last 7 years we are buying the clothes from very means famous shop of clothes in Shamli, and now we are getting means a very fine discount, and we also means said others to go for that, but it's usually give us extra discount as compared to the others.
Okay, okay. So here's a give and take that is happening, a reciprocity that is happening. So even in vegetable market, sometimes when we go and sometimes shopkeepers are, generous enough to just give us some fruit and just tell us just try. So we sort of feel happy and good about it. And who doesn't want to feel happy? Yeah.
I have another example. I have seen this being used at a very large scale.
Okay.
In my city, when Zomato was just getting started,
Hmm.
they started offering like the food of some most select popular restaurants at half the price for the new users.
Okay.
And they wiped every online food delivery chain from here, and now only Zomato runs here, because when they started giving free deliveries and food at half price
Yeah.
for a few months.
I mean, that's quite interesting because that makes me feel, did they incur profit or loss by doing this? Obviously, their number of customers increased, but there's always this question of the trade-off also in reciprocity. So, to what an extent you can extend this? Obviously, Zomato would have thought it a priori before deciding this. So, but again, it did help them to increase their business.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
but
Now they don't offer that much discounts, but still many people use Zomato now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is something that we will talk about. So they showed you the carrot first, and everybody came to take the carrot, and then some sort of relationship was established, and then some of the users are still hooked on to Zomato.
Yes.
Ma'am, but sometimes it may go wrong. Like in our region, Uber food delivery service started and it also gave heavy discounts. But now it's no more. Like nobody buys from it because everyone is so used to getting discounts, and who will buy at the reasonable price, like.
Okay.
And
So,
so we don't have Uber food delivery service now.
so, so sort of that has plateaued. People are not using it. And then what are people using if they're not using Uber Eats?
Ma'am, I used it, but I don't know about like
Okay.
what's the trend right now.
Yeah, so that is why, one of the six human needs is variety and diversity also. So to keep the customers engaged, we have to think about that also when you are talking about reciprocity. So basically, reciprocity, it helps in keeping the relationship going. For example, loyalty programs, rewarding referrals, and Paytm cash when you get after every transaction. It makes you want to go back to the app and do the transactions and use it again and again. So because you are getting in turn a lot of it, and in that case, they are able to retain you as a customers. So reciprocity is heavily used now. After having studied about this concept in this lecture, you might be able to look at it with a much more keener eye in your day-to-day interactions. So there are few examples of reciprocity. So if you would have heard of Spotify, I'm not sure if in India it gives how many free trial months, but in the United States, it does give you 3 months free of ad-free music, and then you sort of get hooked onto the ad-free music, and then you're willing to shell out $10 per month for that same experience. Similarly for Amazon Prime also. How many people here use Amazon but do not have Prime? I mean, so Amazon Prime is also a way to get the customer hooked onto the services and make them feel that they are the ones who are gaining something. And that is also one of the examples of reciprocity. Same for YouTube Premium also. And similarly, in the day-to-day life scenario, when a vendor offers you extra fruits, vegetables without expecting any, so they're thinking at a larger picture, basically. Even though the action is happening in the cross section of the time, but the thinking that is going on in their mind is of the long term. And this is what is the idea behind reciprocity and cultivating relationships, because it is the customers who are with you for the long haul, and as many as you can have them, they are the ones who will actually be influencing how much your business will prosper in the long run. But customers or people naturally have a tendency to get bored and plateau down with their interests, and that is why, so basically there are 6 human needs, and this is very different from Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So human certainly seeks significance, growth, contribution, connection, uncertainty, and variety and certainty. And if you are a business firm or a business organization, or even if you are heading a team in a corporate office, a small team or a big team, or even if you are holding a position of leadership in a restaurant, you have to be very mindful of the people with whom you are dealing in and day out basis. If you can understand the psychology of the people, and by that I don't mean the deep intricacies of how human acts or behaves, but in general, what makes people happier when they come to seek some services or some help from you, you always want them to have a great experience so that they would want to come again back. And that is why they seek that kind of comfort. For example, if you would have come across a tailor or a barber who knows exactly what you want, you would always go back to that person. And if somehow that person was to relocate, or you were to relocate, you would definitely feel sad, because now you would have to search for another person. Right or wrong?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am.
so this, we eventually in our lives, we will all stand on the shoulder of giants, and this is how the chain extends. And I cannot emphasize enough the importance of long-term professional, personal, and interpersonal relationships in our life, because these are the ones which can really improve us as people and extend our business also, and even our own personal selves. So whenever you come across any person in your life, even your classmates or your professors or anyone, act in the present, but also have a vision of long term, that what do I want to get out of it, or what do I want to create out of it, because we never know at what time we may come across someone. So that is the thing about, and reciprocity is happening all over the world. Sadly, because of our current times, a lot of xenophobia and hostility is also there, and because of that, it's very difficult to cultivate it. But in businesses, especially when they want to retain customers, it is seen in quite a high amount. So let us try to discuss a research study. It was a study in which the waiters would come and they would give mints, so mint candies, alongside the bill. There were two studies that were conducted to understand that how this small behavior of giving mint along with the check or the bill influenced the tips that the waiters received. So in first study, it was found that the customers who received a small piece of chocolate along with check tip or mint, they checked it more than the people who did not receive any candy. Now, who can explain me the reason behind this? And in study 2, they found that the tips varied with the amount of candies given. So there was a relationship. So not only the presence of the candy was significant in the tip, but also the amount of candy given was directly correlated with the amount of the tip that was given. So what do you think is happening in this study?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, first thing is tip is related to somewhat psychological as well as from the heart, how much you that person wants to give.
Yeah.
It's related to the service, so that candy that is given definitely is somewhat psychologically influence that person that this is caring and very good service that gives me at last the mint that candy, and the amount definitely somewhat makes a picture in our mind about the amount of money also. Now more means, as if we can say the elephant, definitely a big size comes to our mind, that correlated to that we can say that amount of that candy also makes somewhat a big picture in our mind, and our mind works in that manner and take out that much of money with our hand.
Right. So the diners who had come to the restaurant, they felt that the overall experience was nice, as Vishal pointed out, and they felt happy and valued as people who had come to the restaurant. I cannot overestimate the importance of intrinsic need in all of us to feel respected and valued as humans. And when we are dealing with anyone outside, shopkeeper or business or anyone, or even customer care support, if they make us feel that, we would naturally be inclined to be more loyal towards these. And this is very, very clear. And this study shows the same thing, that giving a candy is a very small gesture, if you think about it. But it is a gesture with huge repercussions for the restaurant also, and for the waiters also, and for the overall review of the restaurant as well. And this is how the reciprocity principle, which is very closely related to, how a human wants to feel respect and love. These are the two most basic needs of every human. And when they feel that, it's very natural that they are inclined towards those people and those directions, and even those businesses where they feel like that. So this is one of the study that substantiates the reciprocity principle. Anyone wants to say something? So the other aspect of psychology is that humans are social animals, as Aristotle said, and we are also highly emotional beings. We are not entirely rational beings. Obviously, a balance of rational and emotions is required, reason and emotions is required, but moreover, when you come across good advertisements on TV or YouTube, which try to tell a story, but indirectly are trying to sell a product, there also psychology is at play. Do you agree? Can you recall any advertisement or market campaigns that ignited your senses by storytelling, which you particularly remember?
Ma'am, I have an example of this. Actually, it was not a market campaign. It was more of an awareness campaign.
Okay.
Like Comedy Central started making these short animated videos of a father and a daughter, and they used to focus on the issues like forwarded messages, and they used to make a whole story about how a forwarded message, what harms can a forwarded message can do, and they used to make it like they used to make good animation so that people would remember.
Right. So again, yeah, they were able to touch the hearts using the animation and the story. Yes, Vishal.
Red Bull, ma'am.
Okay, I don't know about Red Bull.
Ma'am, its ad usually consist of the animations.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, they're not all ads. The people who are selling the product, they're too confident and energetic. So sometimes the product they're selling seems good, like it's good to buy, and the review they talk about from the other customers' review response, it feels good, like the product is good. So we sometimes buy from there too.
Absolutely. So even when the Coca-Cola advertisement that you would have seen, you might be imagining yourselves either as the younger brother or as the elder brother. It is very natural for us to see ourselves in the characters that we are seeing on the screen. And we instantly make that connection. Even in movies, when we see that instant connection is felt, and we always try to relate what we are seeing with the person in the movie or in the advertisement. And this is something that businesses take for their advantage in a good manner. So sometimes, again, going back to De Beers documentary, if you have seen Diamond's documentary. So there is this researcher who says that speaking with reasons, it should, be very inane to point out that something as carbon and diamond could cost so much, but they have connected diamonds with love directly. And this is a very strong story because love and affection and all these kind of intense emotions are form a very crucial part of our community and society and the world. And when that is connected, so even in the Coca-Cola advertisement, you could see the love between, although a playful love between two brothers. And when next time you go with your brother or your siblings to the Coca-Cola or some other store, you would also tend to feel the same thing. So storytelling is again very strongly linked to human psychology. And rather than making a drab advertisement wherein you tell the product and its features, sometimes you just make a story. So for example, MS Dhoni currently says that purchase your own domain name for maintaining your own businesses. And so again, storytelling combined with a celebrity figure and who is endorsing the story and the product gives much more wonders for the business. So storytelling is also one of the very reliable and most commonly used ways to influence the decision making among customers and to trigger them to come back to the particular company for which the advertisement is being made. Now, talking about all these things is one side, that how psychology affects decision making in business. There is another very important aspect of psychology in business, which sadly we often overlook, but it is extremely important. So in the news, you may have heard that IT and IT-enabled sectors is downsizing. And lots of people have been given pink slips, and it's really very tough time. So in this tough time, even my previous company where I was working, most of my middle level managers have been asked to step down. And handling this kind of crisis suddenly is a very tough thing to do, first of all. So if your human resources are not equipped in handling such kind of sensitive situations, which demand the knowledge of human psychology and stuff like that, it can really be a canker in the history of the organization. And that is why the importance of understanding psychology, and even if you when you will be joining corporate, if you would interact with someone outside of your department, see HR or finance, you would see that most of the people either they have studied psychology or even business administration. So even in that case, not only when you are trying to increase your sales and gain customers, when you're trying to retain your customers, or when someone is leaving and you're trying to empathize with them, there also the knowledge of psychology is extremely important. And you can actually go back to YouTube and see that when someone joins at Google, most of their IQs are almost same. But over the period of time, it is their emotional quotient that determines their progress in the organization and even in their professional life in general. So again, we come back to the importance of IQ and EQ, and both are important. However, EQ is extremely important after a level of IQ, and because of which most of the times we may not get that opportunity if we have a super good IQ, but somehow we are not able to have those kind of, psychological understanding of relationships or with people in general. Sometimes we often do not get some projects or something like that, because alone we cannot do anything. We always need people and team to accomplish something very big in our lives. And that is why always pay attention to the psychology side of interactions that you are having in your own life. And there are extremely good online courses also on social psychology if you are interested in that, because I got to learn about all these aspects quite late in my life. You are in the first year of your college, and if you have developed this kind of mindset, it will really help you quite a lot as you make progress in life. So one of my favorite experiments to learn about psychology and customer is to talk to support. Like sometimes I talk to Apple support, sometimes I talk to Amazon chat. And so that is why I encourage you to do also. Try to talk to them and just try to see and observe how these people talk to you and how they make you feel. And there is no reason, and then try to compare that how Amazon chat may be different from Apple support, or is it really different or not. And this professional experience will teach you a lot about, how they value their customers at every step of the pipeline. Because normally when we start, we always feel that, okay, I need customers and I don't want the customers to leave my company or my organization or stop being a customer. However, in between these two ends, there's an entire journey that every customer makes, and you don't want to botch it up. So think of the business success as a pipeline, and every step of the pipeline you have to show the customers that you care, not only when they first come to your organization or your shop, but also second time or the third time when they come to complain, and how do you handle their grievances. And all these things are extremely important, because trust is built step by step, and psychological understanding helps in building trust, and it takes not even a single moment for the trust to break. So, as businesses and even as people who are aspiring to achieve a lot of success in life, you must also be very careful about all these things. And I totally encourage you to try this experiment whenever you feel free. So ultimately, coming to the conclusion, I have not discussed much because I don't want to boggle your minds with too much of concepts, but the most important ones. Ultimately, we have to understand that we do not live on an island. We are surrounded by people everywhere, everywhere. And it will help us to know that how human think, behave, and act situation or their disposition. Most of the wrong decisions we end up making by when the cause is really the situation, but we end up, attributing it to the person's disposition. And it will save us a lot of damage in the long term if we can understand human psychology, employers, customers, business partners, your own classmates, your own professors, or anyone you are meeting it in your day-to-day life. Particularly for business, business means people. People are everything for business, and they are your Bible. You have to read them, you have to respect them. And even stakeholders, managers, team members, government employees. If you can understand how they work, then you can always arrive at a win-win situation for both of you, your company also, and the people also. Otherwise, it becomes really very stale and very difficult. And I know as software engineers, a lot is not emphasized on the importance of psychology, but it could not be further from the truth. Anywhere you are, wherever you are solving any problem, always remember problems are interdisciplinary and complex in nature, and there is no single bullet solution. And knowing about human psychology can really make a lot of difference in your way of thinking, in your way of acting, and will give you some very beautiful long-term professional relationships and interpersonal relationships. For those of you who are interested, there are actually particular subjects for this kind of things, like business psychology is there, consumer psychology is there. You may like to explore all these things. So the bottom line is that always Talk to people with whom you are currently involved in, be it any project, business, or even your sports team. It's only when we talk to people we get to understand them, their thought process, and then we are able to arrive at a decision which is good for the collective and not just an individual. So I hope I was able to ignite this interest in the minds of all the coders that you are sitting, that the importance of understanding a human on the other side is extremely important in the long term and the short term both. So that is what the importance of psychology in business is all about. In fact, there's a lot of research also going on that. I strongly recommend you to go through this book. So Robert Cialdini is a very famous person who has made a lot of changes in the environment by just thinking about the psychology of a person. So for example, he talks about how people used to litter a park, and by just changing the board at the entrance of the park, he was able to influence people not to litter the park they were entering in. And that is the power of psychology. When you see people and when you know how to trigger in their minds certain actions that will ultimately help the business. So I strongly recommend you to go through at least the introduction of this book. And the PDF format of the book is shown here, so you don't have to buy it. You can download it and read. It's a very good book, and business is mostly about persuasion, and you will not regret reading this book. So I hope the lecture was a bit useful to you. And for the assessment based on this lecture, what I will do is I will ask you some situation based questions. So in the quiz, I will put some situation, and based on the situation, you will be asked to take some decisions based on what you think is right. Will that be okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I try to make quizzes not very didactic. I try to make them in such a manner that you don't have to read something to answer the questions. I just want you to think naturally when you are trying to answer the question. So I was saying that the next quiz would be situation based. So maybe I'll give you a paragraph which explains the situation, and then I'll ask you certain questions based on it, which would be related to psychology and business, so that you get a little bit of exercise and warm up in how things take place. So you don't have to read much, but just pay attention to ultimately what you want to achieve in both the long term and the short term. And you will also get a time to observe how you think in a particular situation. Because real life is rife with all these kind of situations. And sometimes, you know, in the rush to get what we want, we end up injuring a lot of people with whom we could walk along and achieve much more than we could alone. So do not underestimate the importance of psychology and human psychology in any area of your life. And do read that book. It will really help you. And also I will be posting on the classroom the Google study on IQ and EQ that after some time. So everyone enters Google with a certain IQ. How they progress considerably depends on their EQ. So that's all from my end. I hope lecture was a bit insightful to all of you. And just keep these things in your mind as you walk ahead in your life. So the poll was about, I was trying to understand, so actually I'm doing a study. I'm actually doing a study on understanding evaluation and assessment for students on online virtual learning. We are trying to create some framework. I just wanted to know how many students are learning oriented, how many students are grade oriented, although I think that these answers are socially acceptable, you may not have answered what you truly feel. But I mean, that's the thing with questionnaires, right? There's always subjective bias involved. I just wanted to know this thing from you. It's not related to anything. It's just a small experiment. But I appreciate the honesty of those also who have said grade oriented. Thank you so much. And you can always reach out to me on my email. I'm currently assessing your market structure assignments. Within a week, your review will be there. Detailed review will be there in your email boxes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.